you're a feminist and think women should have the freedom to choose? Oh, but you shame women who choose marriage, motherhood, and staying home? Right, right. Oh, you're a feminist and preach my body, my choice? Oh, but you judge women who choose to use their bodies for pregnancy and breastfeeding? Right, right. Oh, you're a feminist and support all women? Oh, but you tear down women who embrace traditional femininity? Right, right. Oh, you're a feminist and don't judge women for their choices? Oh, but you call traditional women pick-me's and brainwashed? Right, right. Oh, you're a feminist and all forms of womanhood are valid? Oh, but you mock women who find fulfillment in homemaking? Right, right. Oh, you're a feminist and want to smash the patriarchy? Oh, but you still expect men to pay for dates and protect you? Right, right. Oh, you're a feminist and promote body positivity? Oh, but you shame women who dress modestly and choose not to sexualize themselves? Right, right. You can't claim to support women's choices while actively hating the women who make different choices than you. This isn't feminism, it's just misogyny with a different label.
There's a strange twist happening in 2026 that nobody really predicted.
So yesterday, I made a video in which I put out my theory that the majority, or at least most men that are single, are not as lonely as a lot of individuals out there would like us to believe. In fact, from the majority of the comments from men, most men have actually found it rather peaceful being single. And this seemed to upset some individuals, and by some I mean some women, some of whom left some very disparaging comments in regards to what they thought of me. But it doesn't matter what they think of me. What I want to know is, why would some women get upset that men are more happy single than they were in relationships? Because I think we all know that sometimes it's worse to be in a relationship with someone that doesn't appreciate you than to be single and be by yourself, where you don't have to worry about impressing anyone or worrying about what they're doing. So why would some be upset about what the guys were saying?
For decades, the message was clear. Feminism was going to free women from traditional expectations. No more dependence, no more traditional roles, no more old-school relationship structures. Independence, autonomy, and self-focus became the new ideal. And to be fair, that shift absolutely changed the landscape.
I don't think I can find middle ground on this, because misogyny literally kills women, and misandry...
I mean, that statement in itself,
Are you kidding me?
our very presence.
No, you
Is...
misunderstood me. You misunderstood me.
Okay,
the
explain.
hatred of women kills women.
Yes.
Would you disagree with that?
The hatred of, I mean, yeah, hatred could lead to killing
So the
somebody
definition
else,
of misogyny is the hatred of women.
Yeah.
So the misogyny
yeah.
kills women.
Yeah.
That's
so
what I
you could
just
say
said.
the same thing. The hatred of men, teaching them who they are as being toxic, could lead to them ending their own lives.
Okay, so because some
Because
men
society
might,
doesn't
because
yeah.
some men might have a misunderstanding of what misandry is, and they might kill themselves, and that's the same thing as men killing women because
or
they hate
being
them.
unjustly locked up for rape accusations.
And how often
because
does-
automatically it's deferred that the woman is innocent, she's not guilty, and the man is guilty.
What about Johnny Depp? Did that happen in that case?
That
What
was-
about in Chris Brown? Did that happen in that case?
Chris Brown.
What about in Donald Trump? Did that happen in that case? What happened to Brett Kavanaugh? I can
Brett
keep going.
Kavanaugh was demonized.
What? Yeah, he was.
He was
and where is he
dragged
right now?
Yeah, because
where is he right now?
because it
Tell me
failed.
where he is. Where is he right now?
He's sitting on the Supreme Court.
Thank you.
Okay.
Misandry is normal. It's very normalized to the point where we don't even
But you
realize
can't
it.
give me an example of it. That's
I-
what
I
I'm
gave
wondering.
you a bunch of examples.
But the examples you gave me were women trying to live their lives of their own autonomy and accord, which is saying, I don't need a man, which is fine. I don't see what world you view that as hatred unless you think you're entitled to women.
Yeah, but
That's the only way I interpret that as a hatred of man, and I'm being as charitable as I literally possibly can.
I've literally heard women say, "I hate men."
Of course,
Literally.
absolutely. And
Death to the patriarchy,
Of course.
all these things.
Wait, no,
I've
wait a
heard
second.
that.
Death to the patriarchy means death to the societal structures in which give men more societal power than women for no reason. That's not the hatred of men unless you think men ought to have that power because they are men. That is the only way you interpret it that way. So all I'm showing here is a lot of these ideas of what you think misandry is are just your misogynistic instincts and assumptions being exposed.
What is he demonstrating?
Dismissive of men.
Dismissive?
Showing
Hey,
this
let him
general
talk.
sentiment
Let him
of
talk.
animosity toward men. He's showing it.
How?
You just did it.
So I said that you have a disdain towards women because you view breaking down societal structures that benefit men
You called me
as hating men.
misogynistic.
Because that's
Do you
literally
think,
the
do you
definition.
think he's misogynistic?
Yeah, probably. I think we all are a little bit, some more than others. Yeah.
I don't think we're gonna get.
Now, granted,
to a
I want to
middle
point
ground.
something out. I don't think I'm free of misogyny either. So this is not to say that you are a terrible individual or that I am a terrible individual. I've done a lot of learning to unlearn a lot of these ideas that, frankly, I've been instilled with throughout my entire life.
But here's the ironic part nobody talks about enough. Men adapted.
If you're actually walking around in the big 2025 telling people that you think that feminism is the fight for equality between men and women, I hate to break it to you, but you're literally just wrong. And to be fair to you, like, it's not your fault that you think that. I mean, you've been told that your entire life, right? And that's because feminism has been co-opted by corporations and celebrities and stuff. But that's fine. Let's clear it up though. Feminism is defined as the fight for liberation from patriarchy, okay? And not just female liberation from patriarchy, right? It means total abolition of patriarchy. The primary reason why using this definition is generally better than using the equality definition is because the equality definition just lacks a lot of protections to it. If we assume that there's a world where rape is still happening, but it's happening at equal rates between men and women, then that is no longer a feminist issue. Okay, even if men are perpetrating all of it, it doesn't matter, because if it's happening at an equal rate, then society is equal, and your perspective of feminism says that there is no issue in that current society. Obviously, that's wrong. The other issue with the definition is that it doesn't exactly tell us what is perpetrating sexism, right? It acknowledges that sexism exists, okay, but it treats sexism as this kind of mystical thing in the air that isn't upheld by anything, right? It treats it as something that's totally subconscious, that's just upheld by air, you know? And that kind of definition means that you actually can't really fight for anything substantial. It also means that your movement is just going to be not unified at all, right? Because if you don't have this common enemy, this common goal, right? Even if it's like somewhat vague, then you kind of lack any teeth to the entire movement. The other issue is that equality is super nebulous, right? Like, what do you mean when you say equality? Do you mean political equality? Do you mean social equality? Do you mean total equality, where there's no distinctive difference between men and women? Like, what exactly do you mean? Liberal feminists will never tell you what they mean when they say equality, and that's because there is no real fight, right? Like, the entire movement has been co-opted by corporations, by celebrities. There is no meaning behind the whole equality thing. And every single time you tell somebody that you think that feminism is just the idea that men and women ought to be equal, you reinforce that definition, okay? And in turn, you weaken the entire feminist movement. So please stop using that definition. And stop leaving it in my comments. I can't.
Instead of resisting the change, a lot of men simply accepted the new rules of the game. If relationships were no longer about partnership and stability but about individual freedom, then men figured, why not take that same freedom for themselves?
It's as simple as, like, do you believe that equal rights should come with equal responsibilities? And if your answer to that is yes, then that means that you should be down for the draft. And if you're not down for the draft, then you do believe in woman supremacy, which is Brian's functional definition for feminism in 2026. It's really that simple. Do you believe that equal rights should come with equal responsibilities? And if your answer is no, I wouldn't want to be drafted, then you do, by virtue of that, believe in woman supremacy, even if you haven't thought of it that way.
I can see that.
I agree.
No pressure to marry early. No rush to build a family under expectations. No need to constantly prove worth through chasing approval. Just independence.
I don't think I can find middle ground on this because misogyny literally kills women. And misandry.
I mean, that statement in itself,
Are you
us
kidding
are
me?
very present.
No.
Misogyny
You
actually
misunderstood me. You misunderstood me.
Okay,
The
explain.
hatred of women kills women.
Yes.
Would you disagree with that?
The hatred of, hatred could lead to killing
So the
somebody
definition
else.
of misogyny is the hatred of women.
Yeah.
So the misogyny
Yeah.
kills women.
Yeah.
That's
so you
what I
could
just
say
said.
the same thing. The hatred of men, teaching them who they are as being toxic, could lead to them ending their own lives.
Okay, so because some
Because
men
society doesn't
because
yeah.
some men might have a misunderstanding of what misandry is and they might kill themselves, then that's the same thing as men killing women because
or
they hate
being
them.
unjustly locked up for rape accusations.
And how often
because
does-
automatically it's deferred that the woman is innocent, she's not guilty, and the man is guilty.
What about Johnny Depp? Did that happen in that case?
That
What
was-
about in Chris Brown? Did that happen in that case?
Chris Brown.
What about in Donald Trump? Did that happen in that case? What happened to Brett Kavanaugh? I can
Brett
keep going.
Kavanaugh was demonized.
What? Yeah, he was.
He was
and where
dragged
is he
through.
right now?
Yeah, because
where is he right now?
because it failed.
Tell me where he is. Where is he right now?
guys.
He's sitting on the Supreme Court.
Thank you.
Okay.
Misandry is normalized. It's very normalized to the point where we don't even
But you
realize
can't
it.
give me an example of it. That's what
I
I'm
gave
wondering.
you a bunch of examples.
But the examples you gave me were women trying to live their lives of their own autonomy and accord, which is saying, I don't need a man, which is fine. I don't see what world you view that as hatred unless you think you're entitled to women.
Yeah, but
That's the only way I interpret that as a hatred of man. And I'm being as charitable as I literally possibly can.
I've literally heard women say, I hate men.
Of course,
Literally.
absolutely. And
Death to the patriarchy,
Of course.
all these things.
Wait, no,
I've
wait a
heard
second.
that.
Death to the patriarchy means death to the societal structures in which give men more societal power than women for no reason. That's not the hatred of men unless you think men ought to have that power because they are men. That is the only way you interpret it that way. So all I'm showing here is a lot of these ideas of what you think misandry is are just your misogynistic instincts and assumptions being exposed.
What is he demonstrating?
Dismissive of men.
Dismissive?
Showing
Hey,
this
let him
general
talk.
sentiment
Let him
of
talk.
animosity toward men. He's showing it.
How?
You just did it.
So I said that you have a disdain towards women because you view breaking down societal structures that benefit men
You called me
as hating men.
misogynistic.
Because that's
Do you
literally
think,
the
do you
definition.
think he's misogynistic?
Yeah, probably. I think we all are a little bit, some more than others. Yeah.
I don't think we're gonna get.
No, granted,
to a
I want to
middle
point
ground.
something out. I don't think I'm free of misogyny either. So this is not to say that you are a terrible individual or that I am a terrible individual. I've done a lot of learning to unlearn a lot of these ideas that, frankly, I've been instilled with throughout my entire life.
And that's where the dynamic gets interesting. Because when the expectation was that men would keep pursuing, competing, and sacrificing for relationships, the system functioned a certain way. But when men start prioritizing the same independence they were told everyone should embrace, the balance shifts.
There's no sassy man epidemic. There's no who gonna be the boys epidemic. There's literally nothing of the sort. What y'all are not understanding is men now understand desirability politics in a way that is now more detrimental than it ever could have been. To simplify, a lot of older men gained clarity. A lot of younger men are now not even indulging in these ideals in the first place. And it's jumbling up into a way where we haven't gotten this place before. We have not gotten to the place where dudes are just like, no, this doesn't make sense. But the catch is it does make sense. It always has made sense. What these niggas don't understand is you're not going to be rewarded for doing the quote-unquote right thing. It was never moral in the first place. It's not moral to give a bitch shit. It's not moral to get all these accolades and all these different things to get women to like you. It's not moral. The fact that some of these bitches will fuck a bum-ass nigga because he's fine is all the validation you need in the world. You don't understand, okay, women, now I'm talking to you. Men now understand that as a law. Y'all will fuck a bum because he got some good dick. Think about it from a perspective of a nigga who might think he gotta get all these things and all this other shit, right? Maybe if he just finds a girl that likes him for how he just looks and how he is right then and there, he might be happier. So what y'all are saying is like, wait, if people like me, I don't have to do these things and jump through these hoops that society said I had to before. And not like it's, y'all are just seeing I would say crisis of consciousness. Like they don't, either the young men are like, yo, this shit's stupid. I never would even indulge in this. And y'all can say social media, this, social media, whatever. It's literally them realizing shit in real time. And women, all y'all do is make it worse. Oh, he got to do this. He got to do that. As he should. You're pretending as if these people owe you something by being born. What do you think happens when they realize, no, bitch, you're stupid. And that's actually egotistical and narcissistic as fuck. Word, what now? What now? What now? I'm not even like, you already see how I'm thinking. I already was never part of this shit. I already knew what the game was from young. I don't give a fuck. A bitch don't want to fuck me as I am. But you get what I'm saying? Like the niggas are understanding it now to a point where y'all are getting mad, but it's like, sorry, you overplaying a hand. You overplay hands. Some of y'all ain't even bad enough to overplay these hands. They're hands you weren't even dealt. Like, come on, bro.
Suddenly men are building lives around their own goals instead of trying to fit into someone else's timeline. They're traveling, working on businesses, lifting, gaming, learning new skills, stacking savings, building friendships. Basically doing exactly what society said everyone should do, focus on themselves.
If you doubt that feminism is needed, watch this video. I'm going to give you some statistics that are going to blow your mind. Did you know that women are 47% more likely to die in car accidents because the safety features are designed for men? Most studies historically have been conducted on men, for the proportions of men, to protect men. So that is going to have unintended or intended effects of killing more women, whether that's in healthcare or driver safety. 33,000 girls become child brides every day. Every single day. That is the size of many towns in America. At the current rate we're going, it's going to take 108 years to close the gender gap. And if you're curious about what that means, I'm going to include this graphic here so you can see which measures are evaluated to determine this sort of statistic. And as of 2024, although this varies greatly based upon the country, no one country has achieved gender equality. Yeah, not one. So there are countries that are better, like Sweden, but we still have a long way to go before we achieve progress.
The surprising part is how calm it looks from the outside. Many men aren't protesting, arguing, or trying to win debates. They're just living. And when someone looks comfortable with that kind of autonomy, it disrupts the expectation that they're supposed to feel like they're missing something.
We really need to talk about this disturbing trend in feminism of equating anything that a woman chooses to do with being feminist. And I don't mean any hate to the person that commented this, but I am going to use it as an opportunity to explain the difference between real, actual feminism and choice feminism. And I'm being supported by my assistant here, Tuna. First, let's talk about real feminism. So the actual legal definition of feminism is the advocacy of women's rights on the basis of the equality of the sexes. Feminism is a political, social, economic, cultural movement of raising women's equality to the same level that typically men are treated. Real feminism is about women as a group, not as an individual. The reason that this distinction is so important is because it prevents people from pointing to single instances of a woman's success as a reason that feminism is no longer necessary or sexism is dead. People will point to figures like Taylor Swift and be like, well, look, she's the most popular singer in America. She's the most popular singer in the world. She's a billionaire. We don't need feminism anymore. She has proven that sexism is dead, when we know that women still make 80 cents to a man's dollar. Now, choice feminism is different. It's the idea that any choice that a woman makes is inherently feminist because she is a woman. And this is the issue with that comment. The first part is true. Wanting to have a husband and wanting to have kids does not make you anti-feminist. But feminism is not having the choice to do what you want. Because if I decide to burn down a house and I have a vagina, does that mean that that's a feminist choice? If I decide that I want Dunkin' instead of Starbucks, is that a feminist choice? If I decide that I'm going to wear shorts today instead of pants because it's hot, is that a feminist choice? This may seem like a banal difference, but the point is that when you equate any choice that a woman makes to feminism, it seriously undermines the importance of the actual social political movement of women's equality. Taylor Swift choosing to want to get married has nothing to do with feminism, and it has everything to do with her personal choice, which is fine, but equating it to feminism does a serious disservice to women everywhere.
The biggest irony? The same cultural shift that told everyone to prioritize personal freedom ended up giving a lot of men permission to do exactly that.
For intersectionally feminist women who desire a romantic partnership with a man but also feel incredibly conflicted at the idea of being in a partnership with a man when you are so against patriarchy. And going even further, this is for those same women who desire a traditionally masculine man, or what society would consider masculine traits in a man, but also scared that that would be betraying their values of equality, gender equality, and intersectional feminism. I need you to know that wanting to have a man who has masculine traits, where he is committed to, where he might initiate and plan a lot of things in the relationship without infringing on your desire to do that same thing, where you can feel your body surrendering because of how safe you feel with him and just how much you trust him and connect to him, does not mean that you are betraying your intersectionally feminist values. Because here's the thing, wanting safety in a relationship is a mutual thing, and it could look different for different people. I feel like there's this myth that women are conditioned into believing that you have to either choose intersectional feminist values to prove that you are a genuine enough feminist, and that you must be a misandrist as a result, versus having a fulfilled relationship with a man where he has masculine traits while foregoing your feminist values. And this comes from the idea that intersectionally feminist men who are genuine do not exist. And what does this continue to perpetuate? The idea that you can't have both. You can't have a sensually and sexually fulfilling relationship with a man that you're attracted to and share the same values with, And this comes from a lot of black and white thinking. It comes from a lot of oppressive thinking perpetuated from right-wing politicians and and from people on the right-wing spectrum. And the cynicism comes from the left-wing spectrum as well. And they just merge together to perpetuate the same idea that good men cannot exist, that good men cannot also be the same ones who are committed in a relationship. And this is just an example of how patriarchy shows up on the left and right. On the left side, men who claim to be feminists but want to take advantage of women or just want to not take accountability for their avoidance while leading a woman on will claim liberal values of sexual expression, but ones that are more selfish and overly self-serving instead of mutually respectful. And I'm not saying that people can't have casual sex that is like consensual and mutually agreed upon, where both parties are communicating and all. If that's your thing, you do you. There's nothing wrong with that. My problem here is when that is not clearly communicated, because women are taught that they're wanting too much if they dare to want to experience sex in a very emotionally meaningful way, where they also want a man to reciprocate that. And on the conservative side, women are conditioned to believe that a man who will truly commit to you, who will be in it for the long run and want to go beneath the surface with you, will only be able to value if you submit to this hierarchy where you are subservient, where you downplay your intellect and your communication so that you don't make him feel emasculated, instead of tasking him with working on his insecurity so he doesn't see honest, open communication, emotional intelligence, and emotional maturity as a threat. There's also this idea that a man who has masculine traits, or like societally labeled masculine traits, cannot actually be an ally of marginalized groups or of queer people and of women in general. Because there's this idea that if you are a true masculine man, then you must hate whatever threatens the patriarchy. But the truth here is that healthy masculine men, or healthy men exhibiting traditionally ascribed masculine traits, are the ones who are good human beings, who are rooted in humanity, who care about protecting the people who are marginalized by the systems of oppression that benefit them as men, as well as other systems that might benefit them based on who they are and their identity. The most attractive men, like the most attractive masculine men, are the ones who are aware of social issues, who have empathy, who have emotional intelligence and emotional maturity. And for the women who are seeking relationships or desire a meaningful relationship with sensuality and sexuality in those relationships, and romance, of course, desire men who exhibit that kind of well-rounded, healthy masculinity. And I just want to say to women who are like me and have those similar desires that you are not going against your feminism. You are not going against your values of humanity, and you're not going against your self-respect by wanting a man who has the sexual or sensual traits you want when they align with a lot of masculine traits. Because you are considering the whole picture, that different cynical people and oppressive people, or people who want to have that black and white thinking that just supports the oppressors, told you is not possible, or taught you is mutually exclusive, like where they taught you that being masculine and being an intersectional feminist are mutually exclusive. Because not all masculine men are masculine because patriarchy aligns with that, because they want patriarchy. And not all liberal men are feminists or are generally considerate about women. For example, for the men who like to say that women and men are equal, so men should be able to hit women, it's like they're not thinking about the equity part, because they're still seeing women on this hierarchy, because they're basically saying that in order for women to be equal, they have to neglect the differences. And this is where a lot of those like feminine energy coaches or conservatives, like right-wingers, like to pounce. They like to say, oh, like feminism destroys women because it teaches women that they have to be like men in order to be worthy. When in reality, it's not about women being like men. It's about women and men, like people of all genders, being equal and worthy, and whatever makes them similar and different. Like, it's taking that hierarchy out of it. And this is where a lot of right-wingers and conservatives like to pounce on this opportunity to dehumanize trans people using this facade of caring about women. They claim that trans women are not women. They claim that trans women are threatening cis women's liberation, while at the same time they're trying to maintain cis women on a hierarchy where they are subservient to men, even though they might use these pretty terms of being a feminine, godly, biblical woman and the like. They don't like that trans people and queer people in general are threatening the patriarchal structures that have given them this existential entitlement to keeping men, cis men, at the top. So going back to my main point, You can absolutely be an intersectional feminist and be true to your values and still have a partnership with a man who is true to those same values. It is important to question where your desire for certain things come from. For example, if you conflate masculinity with control because the patriarchy has conditioned you to believe that control equals masculinity, that means a man will commit to you and will be serious about you, that's where you've got to unpack it. Because if a man is obsessive about you in that controlling way, that is ultimately dehumanizing to you, that is not healthy masculinity. He is not committing to you out of the centering of love. He is not even committing. I guess he's committing to you, but out of selfish reasons that require erasure of your authentic self in order to be accepted by him. And that is not what you want. I think it's important to just redefine the way that we perceive masculinity. I think it's important to also get rid of the idea that you have to be a misandrist in order to prove that you are a true intersectional feminist. And I've made a video before too talking about how I believe that being a misandrist discredits the idea of accountability, where it's assumed that boys and men cannot help but be evil, when in reality, patriarchy conditions them to be. Patriarchy conditions women to have internalized misogyny. That doesn't mean it's necessarily a part of our natures, right? And I feel like we can't move forward. We can't be as effective in promoting a better world where people have gender equality in their psyches when we discredit the possibilities of what people can look like, what men and women and people of all genders can look like in their relationships with each other, where there is a lot of mutual support and uplifting of people who are marginalized by people who have privilege, if we continue black and white cynical thinking rooted in hierarchies.
So in 2026, the situation looks a little upside down. Some people expected feminism to completely reshape women's lives. But it also quietly reshaped men's, by showing them they were free to walk their own path too.
Men stopped playing by the rules, and now everyone's freaking out. Let's break down why silence has become the loudest move.